So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Christine today. So, today we have our speaker, Christine. He's a technical product manager at Sitecore, and he's going to give us a brief overview about technical insights about App Studio of Sitecore AI. And most of you have seen him active on LinkedIn or the social media platform of Sitecore community. Is most of the Sitecore content SDK blogs or updates he posts about that. So basically I know him with that only. Most of my blogs when I write, he is the first person to like and comment on that. So over to you, Christine.
Thank you. I hope still everyone can hear me, so that's fine.
Yes.
Don't be distracted. My presentation is on the left screen. The camera is above me, so I will look left, but I will look into my presentation. So um, if anything pops up, if any question is there, I would suggest writing it into the chat or keeping it till the end. So then we have enough time for Q&A, live Q&A, take the time and just fire whatever you want to know about Marketplace. Okay, cool. So then I will start with the official part. So some time ago, you asked me to do a presentation about Marketplace. And usually, as you mentioned it, content SDK, head application, that's my area, but also with the wider DevX. So I played around, a lot with Marketplace SDKs, apps. So I will give you a condensed version of getting started guide. Like, hey, what do you really need to know? Some interesting facts, some good ideas, random ideas, and to just tell the scene, giving you a small agenda. I will start with the studios, like the terminology Sitecore Studios. That should be clear for everyone. What does it mean? Go drilling down to the App Studio, and actually, what does App Studio mean? What does app development mean? The getting started, like what are the ways to get started, and a little bit of a practical insight. That's the area where I give you a little bit of how I develop, how I do things, some nice to know features. Householding, that's me, Christian Hahn, more than 12 years in the Sitecore ecosystem, worked for partners, worked as sales engineers for customers, as freelancer. I saw Sitecore from many angles for lots of years, and that's exactly why I try to make it better now as a DevX part. Like together with Rob Earlham, we are leading the DevX initiatives in Sitecore, and mainly responsible, as mentioned, for the SDKs like Content SDK, like JSS, also the block design system, and passionate about Marketplace. So starting with the studios. We settle the scene with the idea of why do we need all of that? Why do we need something like Marketplace? And coming from the idea of the on-prem world, moving over to the SaaS world, we all know the previous situation on-prem where we were able to customize whatever we wanted. Like we deploy a little bit of code, it is there, we customize the platform. Sitecore was basically a framework, totally open for any kind of customizations. And over time, XM Cloud and then Sitecore AI, this moved more and more into the direction of SaaS and closing all these custom code endpoints, which means basically we have benefits, but also limitations. I mean, the benefits are pretty obvious. We have the free hosting. Sitecore takes ownership of this aspect of infrastructure, keeping it up and running. It's easy to deploy, easy to spin up, but at the cost of customizability, which means you get what you see. Like pages is pages editor. The components is components, sites is sites. You get all these UI with limited capabilities of interacting with it. Like, hey, I need a pages and new left side panel, simply not possible in SaaS. And that's exactly where we hook in and say, okay, that's a limitation we have to fix. And not only with App Studio, but also with a set of studios or set of capabilities. And that's exactly what we are calling the Sitecore Studios. In this presentation, we will deep dive into App Studio and Marketplace. Just to mention it, we also have something like Agentic Studio with, for the marketers, like the new fancy marketer tool to interact with Sitecore in a more like natural language chat application way. It spins up agents. It can do all kinds of marketing or work for you, content creation, translation, personalization, all of that. Sitecore Connect, I mean, I don't have to say anything about that. That's our low-code, no-code platform, white label solution of Workato, and it's more like the application to interact or to let Sitecore and head application interact with any kind of third-party service. App Studio and Marketplace is exactly the point where we hook in and say, okay, we now customize the application itself without even touching the core base image, as we call it. Which means, I mentioned it previously, if you need a new left side panel with your own UI, with your own functionality, that's possible now. We can build an app and we can do much more. So App Studio in details, starting with what we are building, how we are building it. Basically, we will have to decide what kind of app you want to build, a custom app or a marketplace app. The difference is pretty simple. A custom app is just for you. You build it, you deploy it somewhere, Vercel, Netlify, it doesn't matter. You connect it with the Sitecore instance, and it's only available for your organization. It's totally up to you if you want to share it or if you don't want to share it. The responsibility of having it up and running and everything is on the one who adds this app to the App Studio. Like when I, as a developer, create a new app, I have to give it a URL, so I'm responsible for keeping it up and running. The cool thing, because it's a custom app, it's limited to your organization or to your customers. That's exactly the right endpoint to build for your customers. So with that, you can simply fill product gaps, you can fill UI gaps, you can implement your own logic, and we will see later the extension points. You build it once, you distribute it across different environments, different projects, different organizations, and it is pretty well known who uses the app, because it's not like as with Marketplace, that's the next one, that it is publicly available and Marketplace distributed across the whole ecosystem. Custom apps are pretty limited to where you offer them. Now, Marketplace, the counterpart is you build it exactly the right way, the same way, but it is offered in the public marketplace, which means you build it, you submit it, and Sitecore starts a review process on it. And after the review process, it will be added to the official marketplace. Then, obviously, you as a creator, you as the owner, you are responsible for hosting, you're responsible for security, that it works, that it's up and running. UI consistency, we will see later how we reach that level. But basically, you are responsible for your app and you have it available in Marketplace. And then everyone basically in the community, in the ecosystem, can easily install and use your app. Now, the question is, why should you do that? Because you can build a custom app, distribute to your customers, and everyone is happy. And next customer, you just pull it out and install it on their organization as well, and they are totally happy with it. Why should we build marketplace app? And there are basically two major reasons for doing it. One is to expand your reach and visibility. I built some marketplace app myself, and just to be brutally honest, I don't want to make money with them. I don't want to have any cost with them. That's the counterpart. I just want to deliver it to the community, to let community be enriched with the marketplace app. Like, hey, there's a missing piece. I provide the puzzle to fill that gap, the puzzle piece to fill that gap, and everyone is happy. That could be one reason, reach and visibility. Someone takes your app, installs it, and knows who is the owner, who is the creator of the app, and then can say, okay, that's a cool partner, that's an amazing app. We want to see more. We want to work with that partner in the future. I mean, you name it. Reach and visibility. But on the other side, as you have to take care on the hosting yourself, there's a pretty important factor on costs. So, which means you cannot really calculate the cost, because if you host it, Netlify, Vercel, it comes with cost. So either way, you just accept it and say, that's my invest into the community, or you can just monetize your app, which means you can build a custom paywall into it. so that someone can install it, but then has to register somewhere in the service you build, and then they have to pay to really use your app. The model is totally free, totally up to you what kind of model you want. If it's a free app, then let them use it. If it's a freemium kind model, like a limited set of features free, and then if you want to leverage the whole set, you have to pay monthly fee, one-time fee. Um, we have one app in the pipe which is actually implementing this, and it could act as a blueprint so that we as Sitecore give you an example of how such a paywall could look like in marketplace apps. So those two are the major reasons for me and usually for everyone to build marketplace apps and not just custom apps. The cool thing is you don't have to decide upfront, like you build something and it turns out it's a cool app. So you can decide, is it a custom app? Then just install it wherever it is needed. Or if it's a really cool app and you really want to distribute in a community at a paywall or whatever, you can just submit it officially as marketplace app, and then Sitecore will review it. Sitecore will see and will check if the UI is matching to the Sitecore stuff, if there's no security or if there are no security issues, if the app is up and running, working, I mean, the usual checks. Whereas in custom apps, it's completely up to you how you build it and how you distribute it to your customers. Now, App Studio, one screen, how it looks like if you go to your portal and go to App Studio, you can easily create a new app. That one is an example app, a workflow manager app. And you can see that at the top left, you are free to choose the extension points with relative paths. So this means basically that you can decide for which extension point your app should work. Extension point we will cover in a minute. Then you have API access. Usually, if you build for Sitecore AI, you need the Sitecore AI APIs, which means pages, sites, I guess also some others, but these are the most popular ones. And nowadays we also have AI APIs. Like if you drill down, there are also Sitecore AI. They are called agent APIs or AI capabilities. So this will also include those APIs to be used in a marketplace app, which gives you a pretty rich feature set, a pretty rich boilerplate to build against your functionality. Cool thing is the next one, the permissions. So it turned out initially when we deployed and provided you with capabilities of building marketplace apps, there were cases like copy and paste. There were cases like open something in a new tab, which was simply forbidden because of the way we integrate marketplace apps into Sitecore. Basically, we're using an iframe, and this iframe has security restrictions. So some things are simply not allowed. With those permissions, you can granularly decide which permissions are allowed. For instance, if your app should offer copy and paste capabilities, so you go in your app, say copy, and you go into Sitecore, say paste, because your app is something like an editorial supporting tool, that can be set up in permissions easily. And if you don't want to do that, just keep it as it is. That's the most restrictive version of your app possible. Then deployment URL is pretty self-explaining. That's exactly the hosting part, with which you provide where your app is located. And if Sitecore opens your app, it will use this URL. So, and it's exactly the same for custom app and marketplace app. So you have to make sure that the URL you're providing can also be used by all of these customers, either way your own organizational customers or the whole community. Last but not least, I mean, an app logo is pretty cool. You can now upload a logo and it will use your logo image. One additional note, when it comes to dev flow, right now the only valid way to have a proper dev flow is to create another app. You see, I just used a different logo and named it slightly differently, and did the URL of then localhost. We are also planning a dev mode so that you can create one app and just tell the app that's a production URL, that's a dev URL, which makes it pretty easy to switch between. Like in Pages, if you open Pages, you can also switch between different rendering hosts, for instance, your local host. So right now you have to create two apps. In the future, it should be much, much easier. So That's exactly the URL. Now coming to extension points. Pretty interesting and important because you have to know upfront which extension points you would like to use, because in the setting you can just check them and then you decide where your code is located relatively in your application. So like usually we are using Next.js. You can use whatever you want, like Angular, Vue. The SDK is totally framework agnostic. But imagining you're using Next.js, I'm using pretty often app router. So if I have multiple extension points, I just add multiple routes and add the routes to the app configuration, so that if I call it in the pages and if I call it full page or if I call it in portal, it uses different representations of my app for the different extension points. Coming to the extension points, these are the officially supported extension points as of now. I already know 2 more which are on the way, and even more feedback we are now baking into all of these extension points. But for now, it is a standalone one, which is totally isolated to or independent from XM Cloud. It is the portal one. Like if you open portal, you can see your app and can do some stuff with it. Full screen is also pretty similar to standalone, but inside the XM Cloud / Sitecore AI instance. Then Pages context panel, that's the left-hand side in Pages. Custom field, basically the right-hand side in Pages. And dashboard widget. Skipping this, it will come in a second. So starting in detail with standalone. So on the right-hand side, you see the portal. And now clicking through, that's a typical example. You install it, you make it available to portal, and you see you can scroll down, click on it, and it opens in a full screen way. Why should you build something like that? It's pretty simple, because we are on an organization level. It would be some kind of latest news, some kind of updates, onboarding experiences, overviews of your instances, overviews of your integrated services. I mean, totally up to you what kind of app you want to build. Just keep in mind, you don't have any Sitecore AI API available here. You would need to build that on top, because we are in a portal context. Your app knows about portal, which is basically not that much compared to Sitecore AI. And inside portal, it knows about obviously the organization, where it's located, and then you could also list something out, like all the projects, environments, what you're doing, all of that. Then drilling down to the Sitecore AI part, that's a typical Sitecore AI screen with the navigation, and here an example of channels. The cool thing here is that now, starting the video, if you open it in this view, it acts like another navigation entry of your Sitecore AI screen. So in the puzzle icon, you open your app, and now you see your app opening. In this mode, it has the access to Sitecore AI. Like you can now get whatever information you want from Sitecore AI, like accessing pages, sites, content, agents, API, whatever you want to achieve whatever you want. Later, you will see an example with the workflow manager, how that could look like. But I mean, feel free to imagine what kind of application you could build now. One side note, because it's pretty important, if you click around through strategy, channel, design, it has always a pretty similar look and feel. That's intentionally. We wanted the experience of each tab to be pretty similar, pretty much the same experience. And in the future, we will also offer in our block design system whole layout templates, which means if you build against the full page extension point, you can start with a full layout template, so that the look and feel is again exactly the same. Like we had the chat bar, we had some kind of dashboard widget overview, we have the left-hand side navigation. That's exactly what we are replicating in block, and we will see in a second what block is in detail. But then you are totally free to replicate our navigation entries and what we are showing as a structure easily in your app. So again, it looks and feels like Sidecore, but you don't have to. You can build whatever you want. In this case, it's just like a nice demo app, but you can do many other things as well. The next extension point, I would say a pretty important one, is the page builder, because that was the feedback we got pretty often. Page builder needs to be extendable. and more extension points will come for the page builder. I will let the video run. So again, the puzzle icon, you open your app, and then on the left-hand side, like with the content view or the page settings view, it opens the same context panel to offer you your representation or visual representation of your app. The cool thing on that extension point is you get additional information of the page's context, like what page is opened, which version, which language, to react also on all kind of different behaviors, changes on the app. So imagine you want to build an app which captures analytics data from the page, no problem. You have the page, you have the information which language version and which item version you're on. And then you can just extract analytics data, for instance, with the Google Analytics plugin or app, or you can do whatever you want. I mean, I built an app which lists the page with all its data source items, its renderings, and then you can interact with them pretty easily on the left-hand side. But again, totally free. Translation is a good case. Quality assurance is a good case. SEO analysis, geo AEO analysis, content management. I mean, you name it. Unlimited ways of how to extend the left-hand side with proper page-driven behavior. Now the right-hand side drills down to the component level, custom field. So you can add a custom field, a so-called custom field on a component level, and it acts like this. So you click on a component, you get the right-hand side content, and there's a custom field, and you open your app in a nice modal dialog. And then again, your custom UI takes over to interact with whatever you want. That's one thing. The second, I know it's already halfway through. The modal dialog will also be replaced or better extended with an option where you have on the right-hand side an inline editing view, which means the experience will be the same. So now you click on Open App, it opens a dialog. In the future, you will also be able to tell the system, no, I don't want a dialog. I want to have the right-hand side editing capability. Then you get a new tab, you open the tab, and then it will offer you your app visualization on the right-hand side integrated into the page builder, which is for some cases a nice extension. You can already see it in action for the search configuration plugin or app one of my teams built recently for the integrated search. So then it is a new tab and it offers you all the search capabilities, all the search configuration stuff within the small area right-hand side, like a few input fields, a little bit of text, nothing critical, but it looks and feels exactly the same like all the rest of the right-hand side. Just one thing. And the purpose of this endpoint is pretty critical because that one is exactly the endpoint where you integrate with third-party systems like PIMS, DAMS, commerce system, even analytics data, I mean, you name it. And the usual flow would be you click on Open App, it would open your dialog, and then it would implement a nice search capability in the foreign system, like thinking of Binder integration. It would offer you a list of all the assets in Binder. You can click on them, you get back the ID, you get back the public link, and you save it in your custom field. And custom field is basically just a multi-line text field with a structured JSON input on output when you consume it on the other side. So you get an easy, nice, and custom written UI to interact with any kind of third-party system to get the data you need. I mean, I did that for Frontify, I guess it was last time, and I had to do hacky workarounds in the editing host and the head application to make it working. Now that we have marketplace and custom field, that's exactly the way how it should be done and how you should integrate with third-party systems. Last but not least, the dashboard widget. So that's exactly when you open channels, open one app, and then you end up, and let the video run, you end up in the dashboard, which is basically an overview of tasks, of language versions, tests, personalizations. Now imagine what else you could offer there. Left-hand side, the bigger one, and right-hand side, the smaller one. You can add any kind of section, and in the section, add any number of custom applications, like your marketplace application, to visualize whatever you want. Could be security warnings, some kind of overviews, checks, health checks, could be additional overview of language version of published whatever. I mean, you name it. It's totally up to the case you have, what kind of information you want to display for the marketer in here. But it's already nice that you can interact and extend the dashboard widget like that. Now coming to the part of getting started, looking at the watch, which is totally fine. Getting started. There are multiple ways of getting started. We have the Marketplace SDK. That's groundwork, like the Content SDK, like JSS, like all the SDK. That's the Marketplace SDK with which you build on top of. Like if you have an application, it uses Marketplace SDK. That one comes with a client and several packages. Don't be confused. One of the packages is still called XMC. It might be renamed over time. And one of the package nowadays is AI. So there will be more and more packages floating into the Marketplace SDK with more and more functionalities. That's exactly how we isolate all the different dependencies. Like Marketplace SDK is there for a secure communication of your app with Sitecore. Then if you add your XMC package on top, you get all the XMC capabilities like the APIs. If you now add AI on top, you get all the brand review stuff and all the agents API and everything. In the future, we might even want to add further packages. I mean, Content Hub is a good candidate, like a Content Hub package to build marketplace apps to extend Content Hub capabilities. Just how that mechanism of adding modules on top works. Then, sample for all extension points is this repository from Rob Elm. He created it as a startup, like as a kickstart. It implements most of the extension points. It's a good starting point for you. You can just clone it and build on top of that. It's a Next.js app router application, and it's as mentioned, it's already integrated with Marketplace app. Like you can fork it or download and clone it. You can spin it up and directly connect your local host to Sitecore. It will immediately start working. A kickstart. Then scaffolding via CLI. It's also interesting. There's a CLI command on the documentation side, either way for the client-side stuff or for the full-stack application, which also includes server-side communication. And you see on the documentation, there's an npx command with shatcn. For everyone who does not know, shatcn is a very popular component library distribution mechanism built on top of Tailwind usually. And we are using it for our custom registry, like we will see in Block. Block is built on that. Head application stuff with JSS and Content SDK will be built on top of that. And market distribution stuff like our Block, like our Kickstart here, will also be added on top of that. How you use it, you just install this command and you get a full-blown marketplace app scaffolded. Pretty easy. And yeah, that's good. The initializer I mentioned, if you use the repository or the CLI, everything is already set up for you. You get this marketplace TS file already baked into your solution, but it's always nice to know how that works. And that's exactly the client part and the host part on the other side, how it's working. If you examine this file and you want to extend it, you want to understand it, that's pretty easy because what it does, it initializes the marketplace client and lets it communicate with the Sitecore instance, and it tells, and that's the bottom part of this screenshot, and it tells which modules are allowed. And for instance, in the good old days, either way, no module, then you're usually working against Portal. If it's XMC module, it will be Sitecore AI. And if it's AI module, it's our very latest AI capabilities we bake in now into the Marketplace SDK. But that's exactly the place where you hook in and say, okay, I need a new module. You just reference it. It's an npm package, as you see in the top, and you just add that module in the module section. And that's it. It initializes properly. It gives you a secure communication. And then wherever it is needed, you can reference the Sitecore client, or you can see we have also the app context predefined and preloaded so that you get the app context. You can also get the pages context and the host context and the user context. I mean, there's lots of functionality you can just get via querying with the existing client. Like client.query, and then you will see a lot of functionality you can just consume and use in your app. That's just getting started guide. Now, coming to Block. Block is the design system. I mean, we already had Block some time ago. It was based on Chakra. Now it's based on Tailwind and Chatcien. It's a more modern Block design system, and it comes with nice benefits. I mean, one benefit is Tailwind. Tailwind is pretty cool when it comes to agentic coding. It offers a very good tool set so that agents can really quickly and easily build UIs. That's one big benefit. And the second one, it comes with a registry mechanism. Like you can build based on Chatcien pretty easily a registry and offer commands like CLI commands to download specific stuff. For instance, single components, whole sets of components, whole themes, layouts, whatever. Like we already, as you can see in the screenshot, provide primitives, we provide blocks. In the future, maybe also layouts. We provide an out-of-the-box MCP integration, which is documented under resources. So it's a very, very powerful design system to follow our Sitecore guidelines. With that said, I also want to highlight the benefit. Like before Block was released in this state, I used to just write my applications with support of V0, with support of whatever designing tool. And of course, I told it, here's the Sitecore design, here's how it should behave and how it should work. But the results you see on the left-hand side, both results, I mean, they look quite nice, but it doesn't look like Sitecore. There are some colors not matching, borders not matching. I mean, that's a decent design, but you see the difference. So with Block Design System, we wanted to step away from it looks somehow like Sitecore, and I don't know what the difference really is, but it's not really Sitecore, going to exactly like Sitecore. And that's, I mean, maybe that's a bad example because everything is in this primary blurred out purple, but the idea should be clear. Like it takes its font, it takes the colors, primary, secondary, warning, alert, it takes the icon set, it takes all the components which are pre-built with Block and can build a UI pretty easily. And in the initial days, I just did it manually. Nowadays, I just let Claude or Cursor do it for me because of MCP and because of LLMs powerful enough to understand what I want them to do. Now, nice to know. Now we heard about getting started, CLI or repo. You have it, you build on top of Block, design system, and you immediately get a Sitecore look and feel like marketplace app. You can just add to any extension points. You saw the initialization, you saw the client, and with the client, you can just take more and more content and bake it into your application. Now the nice to know to make your application really powerful. You should know about events. Right now it's pages context events, but right now we have 3 different events which we support, and your application can natively react on them. It's the pages context panel, like whatever on the context itself updates, like someone navigates, someone changes the language, someone changes the version, we get an update event and we can react on that. My typical reaction is reload my application because now the context has changed. And for instance, it loaded another page and I have my page and my components, my renderings. So my application would be outdated. So please reload with the new page, with the new language version, and just update my application. Lately, we also pushed layout change and field change. More to come for sure. I mean, that's just the beginning of more and more events we support. But that's pretty interesting because now, for instance, if layout change happened, that means someone dragged and dropped a new component on the page or removed a component or moved a component around. And if your application needs to react on that, it's pretty easy. In my case, and you will see that later in the workflow manager, that's interesting because of this overview of components. If someone removes a component, my app should react on that. My app should remove the component as well immediately. And the same for the field update. Like if someone enters something into any field, my application is maybe a SEO analyzer, and maybe a content updater. So it should also react on changes a marketer does manually. And we can do that exactly with this mechanism like client.query. There is something like pages context or pages.content.layout updated, and it offers you a subscribe mechanism. Once subscribed, you can do whatever you want. Partial update, full update, reload. It's totally up to you. Then, next step, imagine you created your app, you connected to localhost. What comes next? Usually a deployment. And as we partner with Vercel in our code jams, we also highlight here the easy mechanism Vercel offers, especially when you build with Next.js. It doesn't need to be Vercel. It can also be Netlify. It can be Azure hosting. It can be your own whatever Kubernetes cluster. We don't really care. It's just a head application. It's just a web application which is connected to Sitecore. The cool thing on Vercel, and that's what I would love to highlight, is recently I built a chat application using a custom LLM provider, and it turned out Vercel had its great AI SDK. And using this AI SDK with AI UI elements and gateways to offer different models, that harmonizes very well with the hosting part of Vercel. Like you get everything from one vendor, you get everything from within one UI with one dashboard. So I would say keep an eye on that. If Vercel is the right choice because your customer's already on Vercel and you build a marketplace app for the customer, just bake it in there. If you're using other services, could also be workflows from Vercel, pretty popular nowadays, or even the AI SDK, then it makes sense to host this app on Vercel. But if you're not using anything of that, feel free to also choose another vendor of your choice. Now, practical insights and demos. First and foremost, the block MCP. That's a pretty powerful and cool thing because you saw the block design system, all the components, layout, and whatever. The MCP now offers the LLM you're using. It could be Claude, Cursor, whatever client you have at the beginning. And it offers a way to let this, let's say, Claude or Cursor investigate how components should look like. For instance, if you didn't install them or if it needs to get additional information. So my use case was pretty simple. I implemented the logic, like here's the page, here are the data source items. And I mean, everyone sees it, it's just ugly and it works, it displays me, but I mean, it's totally useless. So I just told AI, can you please nicely style it? I gave it a little bit of restrictions, what it should do, but basically I just told it, please nicely style it, use block MCP, go ahead. And the outcome, I guess it was a minute later, was this nice little overview card style with some rows and columns. It's pretty decent, nice result. I mean, you can now go in and tell it, no, I don't like the purple, please use a secondary color, or I don't want this information displayed. I mean, totally up to you, but the power here is that AI understands block. With the block MCP and AI understands, and that's the next use case, it even understands what it should do. Like in this case, the prompt is nearly the same, but you see in the output that there was literally no information available about block other than the MCP. So my LLM just was like, okay, I don't know block. Let me investigate, and using the block MCP, that's exactly the output you're seeing. It got all the components and then made an educated decision. Which component do I need? Like for instance, the badge, the button, whatever. And it installed them automatically into my solution and used them in the generation process. Looks slightly different, but again, it's a pretty decent result. You can continue refactor stuff, and it nicely shows how powerful AI nowadays is, especially combining it with MCP servers in this case, and the block MCP. Now, AI-driven development, just because it's everywhere nowadays, we already started baking it into some of our SDKs, more to come. I would love to give you an overview, and just basically that's just my personal view on it. You can say I'm wrong, but typically that's traditional development. I mean, very simplified, but you scaffold something, you code something, you test something, and redox, re-implement something. That's the iteration loop you're doing. you deploy, and you are happy. And I mean, in the beginning, I did exactly the same with Workflow Manager, where I partnered together with Community and some other apps. But it is, I mean, it works, but it's time consuming. It's a manual process. That's the typical development flow when you don't use AI at all. But during the last, I would say 3-6 months, the game totally changed because now AI supported flow is there, and I heavily started using it. I started with vibe coding, and that's exactly what I'm showing now. What you are doing, and MCP servers just the beginning. You can do a lot more. You can just prompt and test everything. Like you can tell it, here's a component, refactor it. I want the headline here, I want it in bold and whatever. It just does whatever you want. And it's just prompt, test flow. Basically the vibe coding approach. And it is supported with MCP servers. You already know the block MCP. That's my typical set of MCP servers. I have block, I have Sitecore documentation MCP, I have the Sitecore Marketer MCP, and I have the Next Dev tools, which come with Next 16. Pretty powerful because with all of those, I can ask AI anything about Sitecore, anything about Next.js best practices, blog, and anything about my instance, which is connected right now. So it's a pretty powerful set of tools for the developer using AI. Second is skills, and recently Vercel offered or published a skill set under Vercel Labs officially for Sitecore Marketplace. So you have something like scaffold, create component, read SDK reference. So it enriches basically your AI with a lot of deep dive information how Marketplace is structured and how Marketplace actually works, which again makes the output of the AI much, much more reliable. Last but not least, available soon, just because agents is a little bit special on the marketplace side. The agents ND file is basically the guardrails. I would call it always the politeness rule, the groundbreaking information for AI. What is your repository about? Where do I find which elements? Like under slash page context, you see the page context extension. Just be aware of X, Y, Z. If you change something, never touch this folder, but go in here, stuff like that. I can tell you, and that the white bubble Sitecore is working on enhancing the AI capabilities with skills and agents on the marketplace side. So we will also provide you with some kind of tooling pretty soon. Ultimately, if you're done, deployment. I can tell you 2 out of my 5 apps are entirely vibe coded. So I had an idea, I started scaffolding it, I vibe coded the entire app. For instance, the hotspot image mapper you will see, or the image hotspot manager you will see later. My chat application you will see later. It's entirely vibe coded. I just prompted it, tested it, reviewed it, and again and again and again. And within a day or two, I had a full-blown app. It's really incredible and crazy how fast this development cycle can be with an AI approach. Now, last but not least, this error is incorrect. So let me open everything. So the next level from vibe coding to agentic coding, like agentic engineering, means you're not longer just typing in some prompts, reworking, testing, reworking, but you go up to a level where you can really have a set of agents. You have predefined workflows, you have predefined settings, and a workflow can be, hey, dear agent A, like the PM, create my requirement. Dear agent B, that could be my lead developer, create a whole implementation plan for that. The agent C, that could be the architect. It could be, yeah, keep an eye on the architecture decisions you make based on my requirements. And then the developer just picks up some tasks and goes down and implements it for you. It can be done sequentially and parallel. So basically, you can just give it some requirements. Hopefully, it challenges you on the requirements. It comes up with a plan and then executes on the plan. You can build a whole app with literally one command and answering some questions. It's not like this iteration, this loop of prompting, testing, prompting, testing. It is really a whole full-blown agentic flow. I mean, not all of us are already there. I see tools like superpowers. I see repositories spinning up here and there, which claim to have a best agentic tool set. I would say try it out, bring it in. It is really also a game changer if you really want to do it properly. It's not only marketplace, it's also effectively applicable to every kind of Sitecore development, but development in general. Then the Content SDK excurs, just because in Content SDK we are a little bit already further down the road with our latest 2.0 release. Wanted to give you an example, and that's how it could also look like pretty soon in Marketplace. So in Content SDK, the typical example is, hey, I have a component, it needs to use Content SDK, please refactor to use Content SDK. And that's possible. And it's not only possible, it produces pretty decent results. So I was able to holistically rework a whole static website into a Content SDK dynamic Sitecore AI website literally within minutes. It opens up a new door, or it opens up a door for migrations, upgrades, whatever. And again, Marketplace is the next step. Marketplace will also get capabilities like that with which you can easily build those components and whole apps within minutes. How is that possible? For instance, here an example of the agents MD file from the Content SDK head application. Like, it gives you some groundbreaking fundamental information of your application, of your repository. And this one is a skills. That's exactly where we hook in with Marketplace, like a skill to create new components, a skill to create a new extension point implementation. And last but not least, the rules. The rules are more like the fundamental design and implementation rules we will also provide you with Marketplace. I mean, we don't expect many of those rules like in the Content SDK, but some will be there. Now, random inspiration, coming closer to the end. So you saw everything around Marketplace. I would love to show you also some inspiration, the chat application I mentioned. I have also 2 very short videos to see everything in action. So you see the application, and I can tell you it is totally vibe coded in a 2 days vibe coding session. It uses Vercel AI SDK. It's deployed to Vercel. It uses Agents API. It uses Marketer MCP. It uses Brand Review API. So it's a full set of all the latest and greatest what Sitecore offers you. And it's a native, I would say, chat interface which understands your Sitecore solution, but also can give you more and more features and functionality. Let me open this one, that one. So I will explain what you're seeing here while it's running. So it's just an overview of the chat application, and the chat application on the left side and the text here on the right-hand side. And what I'm demonstrating in this little video is I have written some text, and it's like a pretty crappy text. And I tell my chat application, please review the text with the brand review against my brand, voice, tone, do's and don'ts. And then based on the output of that, rework the content automatically and offer me a better version. And that's exactly what you're seeing. I'm just prompting below here. The full video I can also share later in full resolution. So you see I'm prompting like exactly what I told you. I choose a brand kit and I choose section from my brand kit. And once I'm done, I can just execute that prompt and let AI do its job. And under the hood, it's using the Marketer MCP to grab all kind of information. It uses the brand review API to execute a brand review based on the content. And let me just fast forward a little bit till it starts. And based on the brand review, you will see in a second, you will then see also automatically the content updated, refreshed, and it will offer you a new version. So in reality, a brand review takes a little bit of time. This is cut and fast forwarded. So what you see is my LLM, my AI client, chat client accepts the prompt, knows it should do a brand review, took the content, added it to the brand review, and in a second it will output the whole report. Like in the brand review, you know, it has this chapters with scoring, and it comes even with recommendations. And what you see on the right hand side in a second is that it also should automatically update the content. So you see that's the brand review response. It's still thinking. Right hand side just updated with new content, and it tells me in the output what it changed, so I can easily revert it. I can improve it now. I can do whatever I want. So that's the power of our marketer MCP brand review stuff together with marketer MCP. Now coming to the next part. Let me that stopped. It's a shorter video. That one also demonstrates some cool capabilities. And it demonstrates how a marketer can create a whole new campaign page. Basically, what I'm doing here is upload a PDF which holds all the information of a news page, like title, description, read time, additional further information like key benefits, whatever. It extracts everything from the PDF, offers me the information. And as a marketer, I can now say, okay, cool, that looks really good. Go ahead. Under the hood, the news page is now automatically created. I'm navigated to the news page, and I just implemented an additional logic that on the home page, I'm getting an updated teaser, which now refers to the news page. You see the news page has been created and fully working. And if I update the home page, it has a new hero banner. All this should just demonstrate how easy it can be nowadays to fully leverage a whole campaign page flow. I have a PDF. It could also be a doc. I upload it and tell AI, just create a news page. And in Sitecore, I created page and partial designs, page branches, and everything. It just adds it to the news page and then can also do all the manipulations around. Like the homepage can be manipulated, some overview page can be manipulated, the news page can be manipulated itself. So it's working pretty well. It didn't take that long. It took a minute to create it. What earlier, was a working set of hours for a marketer, just like copy and pasting manually doc elements or docs into the Sitecore system can be done within seconds. And just to highlight one thing, it's not only about this app. This is powered by the Cell AI SDK. It could also be Microsoft Foundry. It could be any AI service, also direct usage. And the only power here is the marketer MCP, which makes the LLM smart enough to understand what the Sitecore instance is about and how to interact with it. So the power comes really from the marketer MCP plus the model I'm using here. And I'm using just the GPT-5 mini model, like a really small model. It could be even a bigger model, a better model to get better output. So let's see what comes next. That was the chat application. I don't show you an example, but I also wrote an image hotspot manager. That was one requirement from one customer. And this one was literally built in 2 hours with vibe coding approach. So it accepts an image, it accepts a mechanism to click on the image to create hotspots and to give it a color, a form, and tooltip. You save it, it saves it to a custom field. And then on the other side, in the background, you don't see it, but in the background, it updates the image, it updates the rendering with the hotspots, and it looks and feels exactly like what you managed before, like with all the alignment. Like if you put a hotspot on the cup, it will appear immediately on the cup. So it's an easy way to create hotspots on images. And yeah, you can even choose the image, you can do fancy stuff. Those two apps, as a final note on those, currently they are private. I plan to make them open source pretty soon. They are not planned to be in an official marketplace for several reasons, but OSS based, you can just take them, you can fork them, you can use them, you can build on top of them, build your own version of them. That should be easy doable pretty soon. Then the workflow manager is one special thing. I partnered together with one of our community members, Anna Brindle, and this one will be in the marketplace pretty soon. We are working on that. And basically that is an implementation which was already ongoing for quite a while. And now we are finalized with version 1. It is the replacement of the good old workbox as we all love it. It is pretty old. It is pretty outdated. This one comes with a Kanban view. This one comes with a list view. This comes with additional capabilities like versioning, version comparison, with health checks, with kind of open in pages tool, all of these capabilities together with a page builder left-hand side integration to also deep dive into your workflow. Last but not least, I wanted to give you the heads up to the public marketplace and to also encourage you to contribute to the official marketplace. One cool thing, when I created this screenshot, we had one less marketplace app. So nowadays we even have one more, the binder integration, and I already know a few more to come. So marketplace apps, I would say, is a cool thing to build. You should build it. You should start building it, even if it's a custom marketplace app. Make it open source. Let the community distribute or use it, if possible, or put it into official marketplace for your reach and visibility, or for your to make money. Just to simply say, add a paywall in front of that. It's totally up to you. Then more resources, that's, I guess, the page which is important for you. I will also share the presentation with you. So on the left-hand side, my personal posts and plugins and developments. On the right-hand side, the more official stuff from Vercel, from officially docs, developers, like all the resources to really get started and get kick-started. With that said, I guess I'm pretty much in time. So I would say, how much time you have? I'm here for interactive Q&A now.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. We can have interactive period, 5-10 minutes. We're okay with that. Anyone has any question? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
I can see one question like, can we get some sample prompts? I don't understand the context of the prompts, but
I mean, the sample
Yes.
prompts, most likely, I guess it's about the MCP stuff. It's about what I've shown, like to create an app, to create components, to stuff like that. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. That prompt, yeah, I'm asking for, yeah, those prompts, please.
Yeah, I mean, I can share some prompts afterwards, for sure. That's easy. But just to be brutally honest, it's a prompt as simple as rebuild the component, style it like Block, do it. Like a simple prompt, and it fully understands what I wanted to do. Obviously, if it's more complex, a more complex prompt is needed. But yeah, I can share afterwards some prompts I've used on both ends, like in the head application as well, marketplace, so you will understand how easy it is actually to execute this. Sure.
and Chris, do we have some sample or free agents as well for the Sitecore?
You mean based on this slide and
Yeah,
chapter
what
of
you
the
shown
agentic
here,
stuff?
like, yeah, correct, agentic one.
No. There's nothing available as of now, and that's what I meant with the question mark. Like I see that as a future, and it is totally, I would say, totally up to you. We can give you some reference, like a Sitecore architect agent, which has fundamental understanding of the architecture of Sitecore, but everything else around, like thinking of a UI agent, a QA agent, that should live mostly with the specific implementation with you, because it's up to you. Like if you want, for instance, in testing, if you want test-driven development, tell it your agent. If you don't want it, just change it. So what we could provide, and we are working actively on that, is provide an agent which understands Sitecore and can act like a senior Sitecore architect with years of experience, and the rest can come from you. Like the frameworks I mentioned, Superpowers is pretty cool, basic framework which offers agentic capabilities, but more is more. There are more frameworks out there.
Okay, so
But
you
yeah,
mean the similar concept, like how we extend the marketplace using page builder and also similar way you provide a base agent and then we extend those based on our needs.
yeah, we definitely provide you with some sample agents, and it's basically it's markdown file. Like you can take it, and if you don't like it, just remove parts. Like basically, it's a big file which tells the LLM when it uses this as a base of an agent, what is your role, what is your description, your goal, your target, whatever. And if you don't like the description, remove it, replace it, make it public. And yeah, we plan to provide also an easy to install way for skills, rules, agents based on latest development. So you don't see them baked in all of them in the sample apps, but maybe as a download option, as an install option. So you are free to use them or not use them.
Okay, thank you. So we have another question as well. Can I extend form as well, like adding new form fields?
Which form exactly is mentioned here?
So Sitecore form, I guess, because we
Forms.
have in the dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's right now no capability of Marketplace which connects Marketplace with Forms. To be honest, I also don't know if that's on the roadmap. Let me take that with me and ask. I mean, that could be a nice thing. I mentioned Content Hub, but yeah, Forms is also a nice extension point with which you could easily extend stuff. But yeah, let me take it with me and answer later.
So I have one more questions. Are any of the sample marketplace apps available, maybe even open sourced? Example, workflow manager. This is also one of the questions from Audi.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the apps I showed you will all be available open source soon. The workflow manager will be on the official marketplace and open source, hopefully. And the other one I will just click and make them open source and public available pretty soon. So yes, all these sample apps I showed will be open source. We already have under the GitHub Sitecore org some apps open source, like the icon picker, the Google Analytics. I mean, that's together with some other apps and custom apps I have already seen built by partners. That is a good portfolio of example apps to get started.
Okay. So another question is, with this search experience integrates with page builder in different way, like a tab. Will that also be available for us?
Yeah, so that's the last I heard. It will be an official way to integrate. Like you can choose somewhere and toggle between modal dialog and the integrated way. It just depends on how you want to visualize things. If it's a heavy UI driven stuff, go with the modal dialog. But if it's just a few form fields, yeah, stick to that right hand side because it feels and looks exactly the same and fits in there.
Okay. And one last question from my side, Christian. Like there is a standalone app option and the dashboard is there, right? You remember there is a publishing dashboard. So do we have any class or which we can extend this publishing dashboard? Like when we create a standalone app.
Mhm.
So as of now, I see we have an option of who published and when published, this two option, but we don't have any search option. If we want to
Mhm.
extend using marketplace app, so we need like kind of context to extend that. So do we have anything?
Not that I'm aware of. So publishing came in lately in I mean, it's already there for a few weeks, month, but I don't know
Yeah.
any extension point which hooks in there. I mean, my official answer would be live with what is there or build totally your own one, because usually it uses some APIs which are open available. So you could build, I mean, it's a little bit of work, but you could build your own publishing dashboard if you want and just use that one. But again, I would love to take it with me and ask the marketplace team, like, is it on your radar? Does it make sense? Should we tackle it? As mentioned, we are planning 2 more extension points, very specific, and more to come, and more based on feedback of the community. Like, what do you see? Where do you want us to head, especially when it comes to extension points?
Yeah. Thank you. So I don't see any more questions now. Okay. Thank you, Kristen, for your time and insightful sessions. It will really help us to get started with the Sitecore AI App Studio.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Christian, and thank you everyone for joining with us. Happy weekend to everybody.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you,
Sure.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.